Curfew to be reimposed to the 19 districts from 2 p.m. today till the 6th of April. World Health Organization praises Sri Lanka for the measures taken to eradicate COVID-19. Public flock to markets as curfew is lifted. Donald Trump says that approximately 200,000 lives might be lost due to COVID-19. UN chief says COVID-19 pandemic is the greatest test since World War II.
Good afternoon. 21 more cases of COVID-19 were discovered as of yesterday, but on a more positive note, the World Health Organization has praised Sri Lanka for the efforts that we as a nation have taken to eradicate COVID-19. And earlier on, a moment ago, we received information that one more person has been recovered from the virus, bringing the total number to 18. A very good afternoon. This is Lunchtime News on TV1. Without further ado, let's get on with the bulletin. Tedros Ghebreyesus, the Director General of the World Health Organization, took to Twitter to comment on a good call with President Gotabaya Rajapaksa today. His tweet further read, "We discussed health and economic impacts of COVID-19 can have on his country and the whole region." The tweet also thanked President Gotabaya Rajapaksa for mobilizing the whole government in the fight against coronavirus. Now, President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, responding to this tweet, thanked the Director General of the World Health Organization for his support and, I quote, "immense work being done by the World Health Organization," unquote, to control the pandemic. The President added, I quote once again, "We will continue to collaborate with the WHO to bring it under control," end quote. In more news, upon the discovery of 21 COVID-19 patients, the total infected number has gone up to 143. Yesterday marked the highest number of COVID-19 cases being reported in a single day in the country since the outbreak.
10 out of the total new cases reported yesterday are from the Puttlam district. It was confirmed that one person who was part of a tour group of 6 people that travelled to Thailand and Indonesia had been tested positive for COVID-19. According to the Infectious Diseases Unit at the Ministry of Health, people who have travelled with the patient and his family members have been directed to quarantine facilities. The 10 new cases from Puttlam, which were discovered last night, are the family members and close relatives of the people who were directed to be quarantined. Meanwhile, a woman in Kakunugolla, Kurunegala, who had interacted with the 5 COVID-19 patients found from Nathandiya, was admitted to hospital. According to the Katupatha public health officials, she had displayed symptoms of fever and phlegm, and steps were taken to admit her to the Kurunegala Teaching Hospital at around 11 last night. The husband and the 2 children of the 46-year-old woman have been placed under self-quarantine. 6 cases from the total number of cases discovered yesterday were reported from the Kalutara district. According to the Ministry of Health, a group of people from Akurana, Kandy are also included among the cases reported yesterday. Health officials say the coming few days are of utmost importance considering the situation prevailing in the country. Out of the 143 people who have been tested positive so far, 124 are currently receiving treatment, 17 have recovered, and 2 people have passed away. 173 people, including 29 children who are suspected to have contracted the virus, are currently receiving treatment under medical supervision. With the discovery of several COVID-19 patients, certain wards at hospitals had to be shut down, resulting in medical officials being sent to quarantine facilities.
The Presidential Media Division, issuing a statement, said that the curfew, which was relaxed in 19 districts, will be reimposed at 2 p.m. today until 6 a.m. on the 6th of April.
Meanwhile, curfew currently in force across the Colombo, Gampaha, Kalutara, Puttlam, Kandy and Jaffna districts will continue until further notice. Travel between districts has been completely banned unless for essential services. The President's Media Division further stated that strict legal action will be taken against those who misuse the methods for maintaining essential services efficiently. Accordingly, the process of buying essential food items from home during the curfew period will be continued until further notice. Those who engage in farming, producing tea and export crops will be allowed to continue their production. The Presidential Secretariat urges the public to follow the laws and regulations imposed by the government to control the spread of the coronavirus. The Kaluthara, Atulugama, Kandy and Akurana areas will remain as curfew-imposed areas.
Many people were seen arriving at markets since curfew was lifted in 19 districts this morning.
According to our correspondent, a small number of people were seen in the Bibile town today. He said that markets and banks were open today.
According to the doctors, the people in Bibile are safe. There weren't many people in the city today. There is no income. There are no hires. Usually it is filled with people. We are happily working while keeping a distance.
The situation in Matara was no different. When the curfew was removed, the number of people visiting shops was at a low rate. Long queues were not to be seen in the city. People were seen near pharmacies. The amount of vehicles has also reduced. Even though many shops were opened in Hambantota, not many people were seen purchasing goods. Our correspondent reported that the people were heavily inconvenienced due to public transport not being in operation. The fishermen in Hambantota refrained from engaging in fishing activities. In the city of Kurunagala, long queues were formed since morning and the number of vehicles has been limited. Heavy security was imposed throughout the city. Our correspondent reported that in the city of Polonnaruwa, the number of people arriving to purchase essential goods has reduced. However, long queues were formed near state pharmacies. Health authorities were seen alerting the public regarding the prevailing situation.
The Ministry of Health was disinfected today. A large number of officers of the police special task force, especially trained for this matter, engaged in the sanitization process. Many people were seen admitting themselves to self-quarantine yesterday. This is a report on that.
200 families were quarantined in the Hatton Dikko area. The families who were quarantined were residents of the lower part of the Daravala estate in Hatton in Dikkoya. They were quarantined upon learning that a pastor had contracted the virus after distributing food parcels at a religious gathering in the area. The Madampe police has taken steps to strengthen the security in the Madampe area in Chelau. That is upon learning that the corona patient found in Nathandia had visited the Madampe area. A few places were announced as quarantine areas in Madampe after learning that the infected patient had visited several locations in the vicinity. Madampe police have taken steps to reduce the places where people gather and strictly enforce the curfew.
Director of the Ragama Teaching Hospital, Dr. Shelton Pereira, says that a program has been formulated to distribute the medicine for the patients who attended the clinics. He said that the patients need to obtain biometric data for this. The director of the Ragama Teaching Hospital stated that for this purpose, 3 24-hour hotline numbers have been introduced. Around the world, more than 858,797 people have been confirmed to have the coronavirus and more than 42,156 people have died. Nearly 178,099 have recovered somehow from the disease.
New York, being the epicenter of the virus, the number of dead in the United States is now higher than China and hard-hit countries in Europe, reporting their highest number of deaths in a single day. The White House said projections showed between 100,000 and 200,000 Americans could die with COVID-19. U.S. Coronavirus Coordinator Deborah Briggs explained the projection is based on some people not doing everything they can to stop the spread. The U.S. has nearly 188,578 confirmed cases, the highest in the world. More than 3,890 people in the U.S. have died from COVID-19. The total infected patients in Japan is 2,229, with a death toll of 66. Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe and his deputy will no longer attend meetings together to cut exposure to the coronavirus, as the pressure for a lockdown builds, and the minister warned the country's containment strategy was strengthened to limit. Tokyo government has requested citizens in the capital to stay indoors. Italian authorities believe the country's coronavirus epidemic, the world's deadliest, is slowing down after 3 weeks of national lockdown, a hopeful sign for other Western countries that are following a process similar to Italy. Italy's total infected patients is at 105,792, with a death toll of 12,428. Meanwhile, in the UK, a 13-year-old boy who tested positive for coronavirus has died. He is thought to be the youngest person to have died with the virus in the country. Spain is moving to tighten a 3-week lockdown to slow down the spread of virus. Aerial footage showed that Barcelona's road and landmark deserted amid the coronavirus outbreak. The total number of infected patients in Spain is 95,923, with the death toll being 8,464.
US President Donald Trump said that he would join Saudi Arabia and Russia if need be for talks about the sharp fall in oil prices resulting from a price war between the two countries.
As you know, Russia and Saudi Arabia are going at it, and they're really going at it, and by going at it to the extent that they are, the oil has dropped to a point where, look, it's the greatest tax cut we've ever given, if you look at it that way, because people are going to be paying 99 cents for a gallon of gasoline. It's incredible in a lot of ways, going to help the airlines, but at the same time, it's hurtful to one of our biggest industries, that's the oil industry. It's really, it's not even feasible what's going on. So I spoke to President Putin about that. I also spoke to the Crown Prince about that, Saudi Arabia. And now I think, yeah, they're going to get together, and we're all going to get together, and we're going to see what we can do, because you don't want to lose an industry. You're going to lose an industry over it. Thousands and thousands of jobs.
UN Chief Antonio Guterres has warned that the coronavirus pandemic presents the world with its worst crisis since World War II. He said it could bring a recession that probably has no parallel in the recent past. He expressed these views at the launch of a UN report on the potential socio-economic impact on the outbreak today.
The magnitude of the response must match the scale of the crisis. Large-scale, coordinated and comprehensive, with country and international responses being guided by the World Health Organization. And it must be multilateral, with countries showing solidarity to the most vulnerable communities and nations. First, for an immediate coordinated health response to suppress transmission and end the pandemic. A response that scales up health capacity for testing, tracing, quarantine and treatment, while keeping first responders safe, combined with measures to restrict movement and contact. A response that delivers universal access to treatment and vaccines when they are ready. It is essential that developed countries immediately assist those less developed to bolster their health systems and their response capacity to stop transmission. Let us remember that we are only as strong as the weakest health system in our interconnected world. We must tackle the devastating social and economic dimensions of this crisis with a focus on the most affected. What is needed is a large-scale, coordinated and comprehensive multilateral response amounting to at least 10% of global GDP. The United Nations is establishing a new multi-partners trust fund for COVID-19 response and recovery to support low and middle-income countries to respond to the emergence and recover from the socio-economic shock.
Now, UEFA will discuss this season's fate of the Champions League and its other competitions that have been suspended due to the coronavirus pandemic in a video conference meeting today.
All UEFA competitions have been halted because of the virus, while this year's European Championship has been pushed back to 2021. UEFA said in a statement that, quote, UEFA has invited the General Secretaries of its 55 member associations to a video conference today to discuss options identified with regards to the potential scheduling of matches, unquote. Player transfers and contracts will also be discussed at the meeting. UEFA President Alexander Seferin said over the weekend that the current season could be lost if it is unable to restart by the end of June, although he did not rule out extending it into next season.
Submissions are still being accepted for the art competition done by GUM at the Nagitimu, Sri Lanka. Paintings received from across the island depicts their vision of future Sri Lanka.
GUM Madda, Nagitimu, Sri Lanka.
අඳුරු වලාපට අතරින් හිනැහි නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා පියසක සංඛා බාධක අතරින් නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා හිතමු ඉදිරියම එකවන්ව හැම නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා හෙට ඉදිවන නවලෝක හමුවේ නැගිටිමු ශ්‍රී ලංකා Nakitimu Sri Lanka, api nakitimu Sri Lanka. Kisida no venas minisat guna piripun rata Sri Lanka. Meran bhumi uruma apage rakagamu Sri Lanka. Idiriya gana ekvi api situot rakagannata Lanka.
GUM Madda, Nagitimu, Sri Lanka.
And with that, it's a wrap of lunchtime news on TV1. We will see you once again on our 1-hour primetime bulletin at 9 tonight on TV1. Stay home, stay safe, but stay close to News First. How to do that? Log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. I'm Tarsha Kumar Singh. Have yourself a great day.